Well, hello. It is Friday. Robert Morales, RCO Network, back here at the noon hour talking about finances, talking about your money, and the things that get us going in this world, right? And can't believe today's been one of the weirdest days trying to get everything set up. The camera's not working. You can see this is a horrible mess of a camera, so not something you're used to. But it is what it is. So we're back here Friday talking about your money, talking about everything, like I said, that you guys care about financially. So we're here on Facebook Live. We're also on YouTube, Twitch. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and hit those like buttons and subscribe to us on the YouTube channel because that helps us out here. Also on Facebook, if you go ahead and hit the like button, leave some comments and some questions. We'll answer as we go along. I have a couple special guests today. One you know, one you don't know, one we're introducing. So if I could say hello to my special guest in studio, we have Miss Erica Morales Martinez.
Yes.
There she is.
All
You gotta
right,
sit closer
yeah.
to the mic, though. That's how we go. There we go. We gotta pull her closer. But also from the Coleridge Group, we have Francisco Ayala, who's here every week talking about finances. Please say hello, Senor Francisco. There he is.
Hello. Where are my applauses?
Oh, there we
man?
go.
There we go.
Oh, sorry.
That's
All
what
right.
I'm talking about. Thank you, crowd. Thank you.
I didn't realize you're so sensitive.
It's my ego, man.
Yes,
Gotta feed it every once in a while, you
It
know?
goes along with the bald head, man. So we're all here talking about money and stuff. We invited Erica. She has a different perspective. She does some charting. She's part of a mastermind group, but she also sells insurance. We have Francisco, again, from Coleridge Group, who does financial planning, financial advising, but not on the show. We're just here talking about different things that we see, sharing opinions, and that's all they are, really opinions. So if you listen to us, you might lose all your money. But if you talk to Frank or Eric on the side, they may give you some more hints. But on a fiduciary claim.
Maybe not, right? Maybe you regain all that money that you just lost on the show.
Oh yes. So we're coming here. I am fluttered. I've been scurrying around trying to get all the cameras and stuff working. And look at this. Everybody looks better than me. So, but I'm here, and we're here for you guys. So enough of the tomfoolery. We're here to talk about money. So what are you guys seeing this week? I'm going to pull up some information and things that I found. But a few interesting things happened, right? No? Nobody?
Yes.
Okay, fine. I'll go into it. So we have, if I go into the display here, Francisco looks huge. And see, I didn't set anything up, right? Yeah, somewhere right there. You guys can see everything on my desktop. That's how horrible the setup is today. But May jobs report, economy adds back 559,000 jobs. Unemployment rate fell to 5.8%. Look at all this good stuff. Everything's happening great. We're all back in a booming economy, right, guys?
Yes. But unfortunately, I cannot see anything that you're showing on the screen there.
See, we're
I
all
can see.
of it.
I can see the lovely Erica, and that's all I can see. But that's okay. Yes, as you said, it was interesting week. Yeah.
So anyway,
Sure.
I'm looking at so in non-job farm payrolls, we increased roughly 559,000 jobs. Unemployment rate's up 0.1%. We're not falling anymore. We're kind of being stagnant. I think over the last couple of months, we've been talking about the economy kind of stabilizing as far as unemployment goes. Our average hourly earnings month over month are 0.5% more, or 0.3% more than the 0.2 expected. So essentially, our economy is just booming back, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. So the one thing that catches my mind and catches my eye, right, is really the earnings. So the average hourly earnings increase is 0.5%. But yet, when you look at something like inflation right now is running at about 4.2. Are we really making more to hedge inflation? Are we really making more money to get on top of our economic depression? I would arguably say no. Any opinions on that one?
Well, I think the number that you cited
Yes, sir.
for the earnings, it was what, again, I can't see it. It was 0.5 monthly.
0.5% increase in
0.5.
average hourly earnings.
Yeah, so monthly, there's 0.5 times 12, so that's about 6% on an annualized basis. So obviously, I mean, for now,
Yeah.
you're starting to see earnings do better than inflation. So yes, your purchasing power is increasing, but I don't think that's sustained. I don't think that level of increase in earnings is sustainable in the long run for topics that we've discussed here before. Technology just seems to sap away a lot of the earning potential for people. You get somebody at a especially the very manual stuff. That people that could get raises, they just get replaced by machinery, by computers and stuff like that. And then still the globalization, that just jobs go somewhere else where it's cheaper.
Yep.
So I don't think it's a sustainable trend for sure.
I mean, the year-over-year comparisons aren't really comparable, right? We were already
Right.
in a bad situation about a year ago, and
Right.
I think in these moments to cheer along that we're increasing, that things are getting better. I don't know if there's necessarily a win there. I don't think it's as significant as that the media puts it out, but it's important that the media puts it out there like that because they want to maintain that sense of security, that sense that we have growth going and we are in a good direction. But I don't. That's in my mind kind of a falsehood. We should just be, hey, things aren't as good as they were a year ago, and things weren't even that great a year ago when we were going through all this stuff. Even if there wasn't a COVID issue or crisis or virus thing. So that's the biggest concern is kind of the portrayal of that. And so when we reach out to people out there, and again, if you have questions or comments, please just chime in and we'll see them as we go. For the normal people out there, I think they're really lost. I was approached this week, and I'll talk about that in the second segment. But as people are out there and they're looking at these numbers and then trying to figure out this whole thing, is there something that they can go to? Is there numbers or some reassurance that somebody who's like a single mom or a person that's just trying to get by in life, pay for groceries, maybe waiting for a check or food stamps, is there something that they can pay attention to be at least a little bit better advised on and at least get some answers as far as the directions in making decisions regarding their own personal finance? Anything?
Erica, go ahead.
Well, anybody can trade.
Yep.
It doesn't matter, your ethnicity, your background, your financial, in my opinion. If you set your mind to it, what do we buy daily? Starbucks, Dutch Bros, what is it, lunch?
Egg.
If you, instead of buying that, what is it, $5-7 a pop?
Yeah.
If you set that $50 aside, weekly, you can invest that money. So you're not just dependent on, like you said, that check, that food stamps, that child support, that whatever it is, assistance that you get, or your day-to-day paycheck. Put money to the side. Be smart.
Is that, and I don't disagree with that, but is that realistic in a society where we're economically depressed, we're dependent on the stimmies and government to intervene, whether it's cash assistance or food stamps, or waiting for that our next stimulus check? Is that realistic for people who are just getting by? Is that how can somebody set aside $50 if they need that $50 to buy like diapers, whatever? I mean, and I guess I'm talking more philosophily than anything else.
No, and I get it, but we're all human.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes, and I'll admit to it, we've all made bad choices. So, hey.
Oh boy, I've heard a couple.
No,
she's been in studio. I've heard a couple of bad choices, but we won't get into that. That's not the show.
But bad choices meaning like, hey, what do people say?
Yeah.
When like you mentioned the stimulus money.
Yeah.
People get what did they send? $900? $1,000?
Last one was $1,400.
Okay,
Yeah,
some people get the $1,400 instead of being vigilant about their bills and focusing on what's really important. What do? Go blow it off on stuff, on silly things.
But that's the economy we built, right? We've created this whole box, this whole TV network of an economy. Mm-hmm. We just want you to plug in, watch TV, buy our crap. Because a lot of it is. I mean, there's no reason you need to go buy the latest Cheerios and whatever, or the new sedan that comes out when you've just paid off your other one, and it gets exciting. So they emotionally entice you in a lot of ways, and really TV's like the big factor. I mean, now it's social media, but they're really like pounding in you. You need to buy new. You need to buy another one. So it keeps that economic thing turning.
Right.
But is that realistic? Is that smart? Is that smart to go buy? So. I have a family member that buys a car like every 2 years. So it's like, why do you gotta go do that? Because all you're doing is rolling in the other old financing and a new one. And so I won't say who that is, but because
share with the whole world. Yes,
I get in trouble way too much on this stuff. So, but that's what we've taught people in our society. Is there certain things, and the reason I'm kind of directing it that way, because in the media, the things that people get are just topical stuff, the stuff that's news clip articles. And I know Frank can't see this, but I'm going to try to fix this. I don't know if I can fix this. It's horrible. Can you see that, Frank? No.
Sorry. No, I cannot.
So there is an article that came out that talks about the Dow, and the one things that I hear all the time, and this is before we even did the show, the Dow's up, the Dow is down, the S&P is up, the S&P is down, the NASDAQ is up. You hear those terms all the time, and you want to act smart, like, yeah, I know, the Dow's down, yeah, sure, I know what's going on with the economy. But is there a reason for that, or is there ways that people can kind of outreach and not just take the topical stuff, like, oh yeah, the Dow's up. Oh if the Dow's up, the economy's going up. And I think people normally who are kind of lay people who don't get into investments, who don't get into charting or whatever, they hear that and like, oh, okay, so I'll go blow my money on whatever because the economy's doing well. Is there something to that, or is that just me? Because I'm pretty ignorant to all this stuff. Fairly, a little bit, not too much.
Well, I mean, I'll give you, I'm sure Erica can chime in as well, but Erica and I were talking before the show a little bit about what she does. And so she has, educated herself to be able to do trading, whatever trading, she engages on, different aspects of it. Yep. A lot of people don't have that. They don't have either the education, the time, the patience, the investment profile, if you would say, like, how their emotions, how they do with that. They just won't do it. They won't do a good job because whatever their upbringing was regarding investments, regarding money, they won't have the fortitude. They won't have the ability to carry it through. And so for people like that, I think it's wise to partner up with somebody, financial advisor or somebody who can help them make those decisions. The worst thing they can do is just sit out and do nothing, right? And just have this pile of money in cash and not doing anything, or invested naively, in a non-intentional way. But if you can educate yourself, if you are willing to, put in the time and stuff like that, as Erica has done, then maybe that's another opportunity there. You can do that. Just be intentional. Be intentional with your money decisions.
And Francisco, that's why you're my financial bestie, because that leads me to the next topic. I skipped over. I had the 3 things set up, but I did want to address one thing. So I have a friend out there who reached out to me earlier this week and basically said, hey, what do you think about AMC stock? And she told me she was going to be watching the show, so I don't want to call her out just in case, her husband's watching or she hates me later. But there's a lot of people that hate me, so it doesn't really matter. But she's like, hey, what do you think about this AMC stock? I had a friend that tells me I should go buy AMC stock. And I'm like, I really don't even know how to respond. Other than, like, my initial reaction is like, no. But then again, it's like, well, is it fun money? Is it the stuff you have in a shoebox? You're like, hey, I want to, like, play with this. I mean, because, like, we all go to Vegas, right? You've been to Vegas, Erica.
And I'll be going next week. Yes, I'll be there next week.
So when you go to Vegas, you're going to take money to blow. You're not going to, like, take money to win necessarily. Or at least you have it in your mindset, like, hey, I'm going to win $1 million this weekend, off this $1,000 that I take, or $100. I'm going to take this $100 to the bank, right? I'm going to run it. But then in the back of your head, I'm probably going to lose it. There's, like, every time I go to Vegas, there's a little set of money that I set aside, knowing that I'm just going to lose it. And if I win, it's cool.
Yeah.
But going back to AMC and referring back to what she's talking about, she's like, hey, would you buy AMC? And I'm like, no.
Why did you say no?
Because I think it's too volatile, and it's somebody. So I have to, when somebody asks me that, I have to look at not myself, but their position and where they're at. And for somebody that doesn't know stocks and somebody that doesn't, do charting or doesn't really know, I am inclined to say no, because if they just go off a meme, if they go off of somebody referring over, they're just playing with it. They're not really understanding the fundamentals with it.
Right.
And if you let me pull this up. So if you look at the chart of this stuff, Frank, you can't see this, but
No, but I know how AMC is done, so it's okay.
So on this chart, if you look, you'll see this is. Let me pull back. This is the 1 day. Let me do the 5 day. Let me do the where am I at?
I would say probably do a 3 month or a 6 month, something like that.
Let's do a 3 month, yeah. So if you pull back, I mean, look at the chart. So okay, if you're just a lay person looking at this, you see the price of AMC just around like, what is this? November 2020 at around $3 a share, and it just stays there. And sometime around February, March, it like boomed because we had this whole like thing on the internet and whatever, Elon Musk, whoever it was that threw this up, and it reached a point to $20 a share in January. And that's when it hit the news. That's when everybody heard about it, and everybody's like going in, go hold, buy, hold, buy and hold.
Right.
And it just completely crashed back. I mean, it pulled back all the way down to, about $7 again. And it's just been there for a couple months. It's been there since looks like maybe early February. It's had its little rises and falls, just like any other stock. And it's probably a little bit more predictable. But in the last, 5 to 10 days, it's like shot up to, it shot up to $62 a share. It went from $7 to $62. And if somebody's hearing that, if somebody like my friend who heard like, hey, you should jump into AMC at the $62 mark, is going to be like, oh, okay, it's only $62, and go below. Like if she had like $200, she might go buy 4 shares. But then the volatility of it is like, well, the very next day it's at 51, and it's dropping down to 48. And so, I mean, was it smart of her to do that? I mean, you can look at the moving averages. They're flatlining. They're just flat.
Because it's going sideways, and then you have a spike up. And
so I mean, the learning lesson from that, because I know her situation. She's very limited on money, and I think sometimes when you hear these things on stocks and what's going on in the economy, you hear people like making money, tons of money. They go and just put it in where they think they're going to win, like Vegas. They're going to put all their money on black just because they heard black's going to be the next color on the roulette table.
Okay.
And so,
I think
how do you advise that?
Well, I'll give you. I'm sure Erica has different criteria because she's charting, and so she has different criteria for decision making than we do when we kind of do more of a long term investment kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so you have to think of, this person that's asking about AMC, where did she get AMC in the first place, right? Where did the idea of AMC come from in the first place? It didn't come from her doing research on undervalued companies and maybe checking the price to book ratios and see which ones are price to earnings or whatever it is. Yep. No, it came from her coworker, from a cousin, from her brother, for something like that, right? And then everybody's talking about it, obviously, and so has FOMO, and that's why she's talking about it. That's why people get into this stuff. It's the herd mentality, right? Like everybody's talking about it, it must be good, and so everybody rushes in. But then as soon as people start rushing out, and by the time you listen about it, know about it, then you're down 20%, 30%, whatever it is, on your initial investment. Yeah. That's kind of the what we see people doing. The most people that are not don't have the time to be able to think about this and analyze this and do some sort of other analysis on this.
I mean, and Erica, since you do charting and you do that too, I mean, there are some takeaways from looking just at that. I mean, you could see it on my screen. I'll put it up for everybody else. I mean, is there something that's really kind of like staring you in the face, in regards to this situation, regards to her? Let me pull this up.
Well, in my opinion, and I agree with Francisco, because everybody, FOMO, and, FOMO is fear of missing out, and a lot of people have that. And with this, you said, there's only a certain amount of money that you could invest. So, in my opinion, if I couldn't do the stock, why wouldn't I choose the option?
Yeah. But she didn't ask that. She asked like, should I put my money in AMC? And again, that's and when I say ignorant, it's really not uninformed. It's
Right.
it's an ignorant decision to make just because it's not informed. And again, is it stocks? Is it options? What situation is it? What platform is it? Robinhood? Is it Coinbase? Is it going to be Vanguard? I like Vanguard. Francisco told me Vanguard. I got Vanguard. But I mean, just looking at this chart, would it be something that you go tell somebody to go buy?
Well, you could. I would probably buy and I would wait, and I would probably study the chart carefully and figure out where it is I can go ahead and just wait.
Well, we have some indices here. We have the RSI. The RSI is oversold or overbought.
Because we have to figure
And
out the
then we have-
trend first.
Yeah.
Is it sideways? Is it going to be bullish, bearish? I mean,
But see, I think in this
So
situation, and then I think a lot of people that do this, they'll hear a friend, they'll hear something, and they'll go jump into it. And so, like AMC, you almost have to like not even chart. You have to follow like more of like Reddit and more of like Twitter to see where this is gonna go, because and it's very particular stocks. Like AMC, I think is one of those stocks. I think what was it? GameStop is probably another one of those stocks where you don't chart. You look at more of like the social media parts of that. If Elon Musk is going to be on Saturday Night Live, it's like, oh shit, okay, so where's Dogecoin right now? Should I buy and hold? Should I, based on what I anticipate him going to say, should I buy it or should I sell it? And in that case, you should have sold that thing, before Saturday Night Live because he screwed it up essentially, and the price tanked on Dogecoin.
but you always can't believe, the Ken and Barbies on TV, and you always can't believe what you hear on Twitter, Facebook. That's, in my opinion,
We're just opinions. Right now.
Yes.
It's all our opinions.
you can't just go by what you hear.
Yeah.
It's like if I, jump off the cliff, are you going to follow? Is Francisco going to follow?
I don't know, am I going to make money on AMC?
I
jump off
probably
the cliff?
would. I probably would follow.
So you have to be knowledgeable
Yeah.
and educate yourself. Find ways. Get familiar with the fundamentals.
Yeah.
It's like building a house. And, talk to somebody like Francisco that's, has experience and is licensed and is doing financial planning. Speak to somebody that could, you can trust with your money.
Do you sell put options in the insurance industry? Is that going too far?
No, I don't have the license. I just have, property and casualty license.
Oh.
So that's why I say it's just my opinion, and trading is
Something-
personally.
What's I ask this of Frank all the time. I know he's really heavy on Chipotle. He's been that way since we started this whole thing. Is there a couple particular stocks or industries that you kind of follow a little bit closer in regards to charting and looking at things?
I do a lot of commodities like gold, and
You're a gold girl.
well,
I knew it the whole time.
She likes the bling. She likes the bling.
Let me see, what kind of bling do you got on today, Erica?
She's got diamonds.
No.
She doesn't want to show it. She doesn't want to show it.
No. There's no diamonds over here.
Do you have diamond hands?
If I had diamond hands.
It's a meme stock term.
Oh.
You gotta hold on to diamond.
Okay.
You gotta buy AMC with diamond hands. You can't let it go. You gotta let it rise all the way to 6,000 a share like Bitcoin, or 60.
No, but every day I
the
go
moon.
to briefing.com that I get my emails, and Wednesdays you check, charts and how the market's doing. You need to, like I said, get familiar, because you can't build a house without a foundation.
Yeah.
And that was my mistake years ago, that I just jumped in, thought I knew it all, which I didn't know anything, and I still don't, because every day you learn. And something that nobody can take away from you is your knowledge. And I've just learned that.
Yeah. We could go back to the days of this. You know what that is, Erica? Does that look familiar to you?
I've seen
Do you know what that is? Do you know what it's called? It's called Life is Simple. That's an abacus. That was a joke. That was a horrible joke. I set that up.
You put me on blast. I'm like,
I set that up today. It was okay, fine. It was a stupid joke. But anyway,
Thank God.
so
Thank God I'm not there.
we have a lot of stuff going on. So we're in the last 5 minutes of the show. So I did want to reflect a little bit. I brought Erica on here just to kind of have a different of opinion. She does chart. She's part of other masterminds that kind of explore these things. And so I think the big learning lesson for me in this week and everything else that I see going on in the economy is be more informed and not really stick to one place to get your information. There's many various sources and completely many opinions about all this stuff. And I think the thing that Frank would say, and I'm sure Erica was going to say, is like, don't do things that you're not informed on because you're going to lose all your money. And if you listen to our opinions, you might lose all your money too, but at least we're here for you. We're at least here to share a moment with you and say, hey, if you're going to buy AMC, don't do it. At least not for this
Yeah,
person.
I mean, so I see it. I mean, yeah, if you want to be involved in the investing and stuff like that, go ahead. Yeah, for sure, be informed. But a lot of people, like I said, they just don't have any interest. They don't have time. They don't for whatever reason. But don't also just stay on the sidelines. Talk to somebody. You can outsource this stuff. You can outsource just like basically what you're doing for a doctor or a dentist or a mechanic or something is you're outsourcing that particular problem because they have more knowledge than you, right? And the same goes for investing. You're just outsourcing the decision making on investing to a financial advisor, to a financial planner, to somebody that's knowledgeable. Make sure that they're knowledgeable and ask them deep questions to make sure that if you're going to be handing over your money, that they know their stuff. But for a lot of people, it's just it makes sense to outsource this thing. And if you want to have some fun and you want to put in $1,000 to have some fun after you have your financial plan in place, after you have your savings account, after you have make sure all your bases covered, then by all means knock yourself out.
Diamond hands.
Just exactly. Hold it to the moon. Total to the moon.
Erica, do you have any last words? We're in the last couple of minutes, so if you have any comments or questions about either today's show or about future shows or any information you want to go ahead and drop, put it in the comment section. We'll get back to it next week. If not, maybe towards the end of the show. I don't know. There's a couple people watching right now, so I just want to make sure we hit those. But Erica,
hi people.
Go ahead. Do you have anything that you want to say, or at least inform, or at least reflect on about anything we've said today?
No, just get educated. Don't always believe what you hear on TV. Don't believe all the Ken and Barbies because, AMC's this. Do your research before anything. Just like with any product, just with anything. Always do your research and be prepared. And the last thing is have your rules and stick to your rules when you're trading.
Oh yeah, that's
one thing that, and don't have FOMO, like Francisco said earlier.
Yeah, I was kicking myself. I wanted to buy. I talked about it like 3 months ago. I wanted to buy Pepsi stock, and because I felt that they were in a position where they were gaining, and again, it's short term and long term thinking too. Like for me, buying something like Pepsi, unfortunately, when there's a pandemic or something, there's a lockdown, people don't stop drinking soda. And Pepsi's so diversified a little bit more as far as their products are concerned. They have the chips, they have those little Doritos, they have a bunch of stuff that's connected to that. So I think they're a good company as far as what they're able to do and the extension versus Coke. I do have Coca-Cola, but it's stuff like that those are considerations you want to make. And I didn't make that purchase just because I wanted an acquisition a little bit more differently. I wanted to kind of go after a meme stock, which in this case was Palantir, and right now I'm in it. I bought Palantir at a lower rate. It went under the price that I had, and then it shot up to about 10% over what I've purchased. So that was a little bit smarter decision than the Pepsi one. But again, that's a little bit more volatile. And there's a whole other considerations looking at doing charting. So there's things that I want to inform myself with and look at. But again, we're here. And we're at the end of the show. So,
all right.
Francisco Ayala from the Coleridge Group, I want to thank you for joining us again. You are the expert, the wise owl of our little group here. Erica just joined us today to have us come along. I'm going to go ahead and put your information up, Francisco, as well as you're in your way. You're in your own way, Frank.
If you don't mind, hopefully next week.
Yes, sir.
I'll be able to share with you our updated website, talk about our services, talk about what we do, why we do it. If anyone out there is interested in getting professional financial advice, not
Not on the show, but with you.
Not the Facebook version, but the real version.
The real Frank, please stand up.
Yeah. Hopefully by next week, we can do that.
All right, and then we do have Erica Sanchez. She is
Erica Martinez.
I did that.
You've been changing
I've been screwing.
my name since I walked in the door.
I was
went
calling
from
her Sharon.
to Sanchez. Okay.
She's too close. She's too close to. Well, she's a Morales, but not a Morales. Not related, but
Not related.
kind of having fun.
Huh.
I screwed up. That's my fault. So Erica Martinez from Martinez Associates. She's the owner of Martinez Associates,
Yes, I
and she does have an insurance. Can you tell me about your company?
Well, it's an insurance agency,
Yes.
which I sell from home, auto, renters, commercial, workman's comp. It's a one-stop shop. And I'll try to save you money so you can invest and give Francisco a call.
That's absolutely right.
Yep.
Just like how I call him too.
Yep.
So
Tag team.
We're back to the end of the show again. We are currently over. So this is Rob Morales for RCO Network. Let me get Frank out of there. He's a lovely.
Thank you,
guy.
guys. Thank you. Bye.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
So we'll be back next week. If you guys want to leave your comments and questions, we're going to get back to those as we go along. So happy week. We're getting
have a
into
good
summer,
weekend.
and we'll see you guys
Yep.
next
Thanks.
week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.